The 2023 Boston Celtics, everybody. This one, it's a little bit of a tough one to do because nothing significant has really happened with this team since they made the NBA Finals and lost it. Their coach hasn't been caught up in some all-encompassing scandal that's going to possibly cost them the entire year. Their top rim protector slash maybe best defender on the team, second best defender, is not going to miss the start of the season, maybe 4 to 6 weeks on top of an injury that was already there and costing him time in the playoffs. They didn't acquire an important free agency piece that then went on to tear his ACL during the summer. A piece they certainly could have used. None of this happened, man. The only thing that happened was they went out and got Malcolm Brogdon, a point guard that they were sorely in need of. If you listen to this podcast during the finals and after it, that was pretty much my entire shopping list for the summer. That's what I wanted. I thought with Tatum and Jaylen Brown being tasked the way they were, I never was cool with the idea of, even though Marcus Smart did take a leap in playmaking this year, I was never fully on the I was never fully on the train of having him as a full-time one. They kind of did that out of necessity, so that's cool. Going to be able to split time with Malcolm Brogdon. Got some interesting lineups there. But yeah, on the other side, this team is damn near a cooked product right now. Let's call it what it is. This is terrible. This has been a terrible 30 days for the Boston Celtics. So it was bad enough losing a finals that was pretty winnable, I would say. There was a lot of self-inflicted things that happened in that Golden State series. Of course, Golden State just played better basketball overall too, but from a turnover perspective, this Celtics team folded on itself multiple times, so that was bad enough. Then the summer comes around, and Kevin Durant becomes available. Now, also as mentioned, every team in the league picked up their phone for Kevin Durant, but the Celtics especially did. They were even, might I say, from the information I saw, close to landing KD. How are you going to land KD? I've been saying for a year plus, Jason Tatum will never be traded. It's just not going to happen. There's always debates. Jaylen Brown goes on a hot streak and people go, oh, see, Jaylen Brown's the better player. Whatever happens, Jason Tatum's not the one that's getting traded whenever it's time to trade. It's just not going to be him. It was never going to be him. So when the KD thing came up, of course, it was Jaylen Brown on the chopping block. Matter of fact, I believe the Nets asked for him and Marcus Smart. The original deal being Jaylen Brown, Derek White, some picks, something like that. It wasn't as expensive. So it didn't happen, but the thing that did was it pissed Jaylen Brown off. Jaylen Brown being either the best or second best player on the team, whatever, debate that amongst yourselves. Him being put up as the trade piece. He liked tweets during the offseason that basically made it known he feels unappreciated with this squad. Now, why is that important? He literally has 2 seasons left on his deal, which in NBA superstar slash NBA star terms, a lot of the times means you have 1 year. He has this year, 2023, 2024. There's no options or anything. Boston has to extend him soon for him to keep playing on this team. I assume at some point, sometime relatively soon, they are going to be bringing that up. They're going to be offering that because you don't want to get to 2024 and now his value is lower because he's just a rental for a certain team. Y'all know, I don't have to explain how the whole star trade procedure goes, right? The extension talks have to happen soon. Also on Jaylen Brown's Twitter, because this one just came up, of course, in the midst of the Udoka scandal. Yeah, here we go. It actually popped up as soon as I opened Twitter. Didn't even have to search. The last thing in his likes was, when you think everything is falling apart, boy, when I tell you everything is falling into place. Now that's very ambiguous. That is extremely ambiguous. It comes from Tia Cooper. No clue who that is. Not even gonna pretend. But yeah, he liked that 12 hours or so after this Udoka news is dropped. So basically what I'm saying is there's a Jaylen Brown situation just spanning back from about 2 or 3 months now. This is a Jaylen Brown situation that needs to be handled on a team that supposedly has finals aspirations, because they were just there. They were 2 wins away from one. They've been to plenty of conference finals. This team has always been close. But the thing about being close, the thing about being in the finals is you never know when you're going to go back. You never know if you're going to get back. That Thunder team, Harden, Westbrook, and KD, we swore they were going to get back and they never did. So you can be right there on the door, and that could just be as close as you get for your entire career. Things are pointing in the wrong direction for the squad, not just for 2023, but overall, because Ime Udoka turned out being a very solid coach for this squad, as far as we know anyways. Y'all know I'd long been saying the judgments for coaches literally comes on whether they're winning or losing most of the time. But for Udoka, a lot of the beginning of the season, people weren't really liking it. The Celtics weren't playing that good. He had a lot to say about the team all the time, so that rubbed people the wrong way. However, the defense got really, really good. They had the best in-season turnaround I think that I've ever seen. They went to the NBA Finals, so Udoka is held as this really good first-year coach. And now that that might just be the only year coach. Who knows how this is going to affect his career going forward. But for Boston, his punishment has not been explained yet, but it's coming from some pretty high places, aka Woj, that he might be suspended for the entire season. Not only that, he might resign. And so that leaves us with the assistant coaches, because Brad Stevens is not stepping back down. I'm not even sure if that would help. So this team, man, it's so fragile, bro. Finals runs are so fragile. Success with teams is so fragile. Something like your star player being unhappy, because this is a group that had a miracle turnaround last year anyways. Your star player being unhappy, randomly changing the coach, which is just instability. These are all things that point you in the wrong direction. And then Robert Williams, who knows what his knee is actually going to be like when and if he does return, because he had the surgery before the playoffs last year. He's having another one this year. I think most of us understood that he came back too early last year, as evidenced by the fact he would be playing and then he wouldn't be playing, and his minutes, they'd be messing with his minutes. He was not fully healthy at any point during that run. He just wanted to be a part of it. Apparently the team told him it would be okay. So he might have sacrificed his long-term health for that run that did not result in the chip. And he is vitally important to the Celtics squad defense. They have good defense overall, but him roaming and him being able to just basically patrol and come over and play help defense in the paint. There's a big part of why Boston was as good as they were. It's a big part of their turnaround. So let's just hope he actually comes back when he's supposed to, which would be, they said 4 to 6 weeks. He's having the surgery soon, so maybe he'll only miss the first couple of weeks of the season. We're literally 4 weeks away from the start, so maybe he'll return 2 weeks in and we'll just work him in throughout the year. Maybe that's not that much of a problem, but I'm specifically focused on the long-term health of that knee, though, because we know when you start hearing things about a meniscus and just knees with big men in general, especially for a guy that relies on athleticism as much as he does, it's a very tricky situation, and he was very important. Yeah, it's a bad thing. And then Gallinari, to be honest with you, Brogdon, out of the two, Brogdon was the more important piece in my opinion. That was, for me anyways, that was a split within the Celtics fan base this summer. Do they need a different point guard? Do they not? I was on the side of they need an extra one. They went and got it. Gallinari would have been very nice just as a backup shooter, somebody else to spread the floor, somebody to come put points up and relieve some pressure on the star players. I thought that could have added some lineup versatility. Would have been nice to have. Not going to have it. Didn't have it last year. That honestly just sucks. But yeah, it looks like we're just not going to have that at all. So maybe we just know what we're missing there. Yeah. And then this Eastern Conference, as we will see as we go through these previews, it's already very stacked at the top. Some of these teams that weren't even in the playoffs last year due to injury have gotten better. And so you could, just as easily as this team could end up being a 2nd seed or a 3rd seed, they could end up being a 5th or a 6th. Everything literally just depends. And when you're in a season where things depend, you don't want to have the problems that the Boston Celtics have right now. And there are a lot of them. There are 3 or 4 of them. If you're not familiar with the Udoka situation, he had a relationship with a consensual relationship with a female member on the Celtics staff, and it violated a team rule. So that's what's leading to this. Now, my thoughts on that is, like, again, we don't have enough of the details at all to really have a true opinion on it at the moment. But damn, I didn't think it was going to cost him the whole year. I'll just say that. I didn't think it was going to cost him the whole year. I thought it was going to cost him. I heard significant suspension last night, and I went, oh, okay, so damn, depending on what he did, 30 games, something like that, some significant 15 to 30 games, somewhere in that range. Oh, whole season. Okay. Instability for a team that is trying to get it together for another run. Last year's run was, even though they had breaks, still pretty gruesome. Got a break with Chris Middleton being out. We'll never deny that, but that's what happens in finals runs. A lot of teams that make it to the finals and end up winning get breaks, so that was just theirs, and they didn't take advantage of it. Literally barely getting past the Miami Heat, seeing Brooklyn in the first round, and then seeing the Warriors. It was a pretty tough path overall, and they will likely have to do something very similar this year. I hope we see even more improvements in Jason Tatum's playmaking. Maybe even some from Jaylen Brown. Again, this is a lot of what Malcolm Brogdon was brought in to alleviate. Yeah. We're just left with questions, bro. We're just left with questions. Losing your first year head coach that took you to the finals is not helpful. That's kind of really all I have to say about this team right now going into the next season. This scandal is fresh. Literally just came out. At this point, it's just like, let's see how much worse it gets. This is really almost a future outlook preview for the Celtics, because it's not just about 2023. Like, the coach and one of your star players, both of their futures with the franchise, in my opinion, are kind of uncertain right now. I don't get the feeling Jaylen Brown all the way wants to be here after some of the things that happened. The Celtics did to Jaylen Brown pretty much what they did that made Ray Allen left. Of course, Ray Allen was much older, but still. They kept dangling Ray Allen in trade rumors. Man felt unappreciated, and then he went across enemy lines. So, the gloves come off when players feel disrespected, and Jaylen Brown feels disrespected. And yeah, Udoka, again, trying to wait for more details before I say more, but the whole season though, all right, man. Well, that's pretty much what I got for the 2022 Boston Celtics. More to come. Maybe we'll see another one once we get some updates on what's happening. Let me know what you think about this squad. Do you think Jaylen Brown's future is with this team? How much better do you think they got in the offseason? But everything literally has just gotten worse. Let's just be honest. Besides the Brogdon thing, I loved when they made those additions. I was ecstatic. Everything with their situation since then has gotten worse, and typically teams that come into a season unstable don't have great years. So I would not be surprised if wheels came off. Or maybe the coach that replaces Udoka. Yeah, you want to hit the jackpot twice? I don't know, bro. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Hit the like button, sub, hit the button next to my name if you want notifications every time a video drops. I'll see y'all on the next one.